In our polling day bulletin, President Museveni casts vote in Rwachtura amid biometric voter verification machines failure, while Chagulanyi casts vote in Magere raises concerns over internet shutdown.
It would eliminate cheating. And it can, but it depends on one thing: vigilance. The agents to really be vigilant. But many times the agents are not vigilant. They are not vigilant.
As we hold our general elections in Uganda, the world should be reminded that we are holding elections in the dark. The internet has been switched off across the country. This is done in order to facilitate the intended rigging of the regime.
And general elections commence countrywide. BVVK machines fail. Voting results to manual process.
I think it's just disorganized. The machines are not working. So basically no one has voted. Basically nothing is going on. It is now 9. We're going to 9:30. People have come very early. By 6 people were already here. Machines have come late. Machines are not working.
And from overseas, Trump's Venezuela oil play, $500 million shipment hits US markets.
Brought to you by
Centenary Publishing House, the leading publishers of prayer and hymn books since 1977.
Welcome to News at 8. Starting us off today, President Yoweri Museveni has cast his vote at Rwachtura polling station at Kazo High School, where he commented on the voting process and the use of biometric machines. The president said the machines are functional but require trained personnel and expressed confidence that he will win the election with an 80% win.
After casting his vote, President Yoweri Museveni addressed the media, outlining how the voting process has unfolded so far. He said errors that marred the 2021 elections, in which he claims the opposition took about 2.7 million votes, have since been addressed, and he now expects to secure an 80% victory.
We thought it would eliminate cheating. And it can, but it depends on one thing: vigilance. The agents to really be vigilant. But many times the agents are not vigilant. They are not vigilant. So still, like in the last election, opposition infiltrated 2.7 million votes. Those votes which they say opposition got were not. They never got those votes. They were infiltrated by the opposition. They printed 1 million votes on Nkuruma Road and brought another 1.7 from Dubai.
Museveni noted that the voting machine is functional, but it requires trained personnel to operate it.
What happened was that some people in the Electoral Commission did not send the particulars of the operators to the machines. So I checked, they are saying that some of them, even by this morning, had not sent their biodata by this morning. Some were sending by 9. Was this deliberate? We are going to check that.
On the leaders he voted for, Museveni said he cast his vote for individuals he described as patriotic.
This is the one I have voted for, the one who believes in Uganda. But also, the one who believes in Africa. Because even Uganda is not enough. If you see our production now, so big, this milk, these people here, production of milk is 5.3 billion liters. The internal market is only 1 billion. So if we do not have East Africa, this business would have collapsed. This is economy of milk. So kata wetugambira nti Pan-Africanism. Love Africa.
Museveni said that 70% of Ugandans are wealthy, adding that development programs are targeted at the remaining 30% who are still poor.
There is a lot of wealth which has come up in commercial agriculture, manufacturing, services and ICT. I'm a hotel, very many hotels. Transport, Mbaraba, borders, what have you, there are so many. So that one have responded very well. That's why our exports have gone up, coffee. We are now earning more than $13 billion in export earnings. Now our export earnings are now higher than our import bill. We are importing less than we are exporting.
All right, moving on elsewhere, the National Unity Platform presidential candidate Robert Kyagulanyi Ssentamu today took part in the 2026 general elections, casting his vote at Magere Freedom Square in Wakiso district, accompanied by his wife Babi Kyagulanyi, as tight security surrounded the polling station and hundreds of voters gathered to participate in the historic exercise. Before voting, Kyagulanyi Ssentamu addressed journalists at the venue, where he expressed strong dissatisfaction with what he termed as the deliberate obstacles to the electoral process, including interruption of the internet services and the failure of biometric verification machines.
As we hold our general elections in Uganda, the world should be reminded that we are holding elections in the dark. The internet has been switched off across the country. This is done in order to facilitate the intended rigging of the regime. Otherwise, why would the people of Uganda be denied the right to communicate, and why the Ugandan election should be held in the dark?
All right, now our team, just like I told you, was on ground the entire day and managed to capture a number of scenarios. Voting in Kampala Central has been marked by delays and technical setbacks, with several polling stations opening late and biometric verification machines breaking down, forcing voters to use the manual system. Some ministerial and parliamentary aspirants, including Honorable Minsa Kabanda, Lord Mayor Uhuru Salim Lubongoya and Luzi, have criticized the disruptions, saying they slowed down the voting process and discouraged voter turnout. Now our reporter moved across Kampala Central, across the stations, and in the Chivuvo Parish 1, where Salim Uhuru cast his vote, turnout had noticeably reduced as a result of late start. Speaking to journalists, the Mayor Uhuru Salim urged the Electoral Commission to extend voting time, citing low turnout in some polling stations caused by the delays and machine shutdowns. Let's take a look.
Of the election today, so far, I thank the EC. The election materials came in time today, and people were already at the stations by 6 a.m. However, we got a challenge with the manual machine, the thumb printing machine, that not actually in Kampala but all over refused to work. So I thought I could not take any decision. It is the AC that has come out. We have communicated to see we go back to the manual way, which is much faster and easier. Good enough, all the agents have agreed here to go to the old fashion. If you can see, a lot of people have turned up. It's overwhelming. So we just have to keep time because we started late. But all in all, there's no fighting, there's no intimidation, there's no tension. People are doing as they wish. No one is putting on colors. It's just they want to vote. It's coming late.
Well, still in Kampala Central in Bilo Zone, Chisenyi, her home area, Honorable Hajat Minsa Kawanda arrived to vote amid cheers and supporters, and she thanked residents for turning up in large numbers and said the strong support boosts her confidence of victory.
Candidate, and I've worked tirelessly to look for my support, and I know people are going to vote for me. I thank each and every person who has performed in my candidature. They have done a lot. My supporters and everybody, they have worked tirelessly, and I know we have the win. This is my home area, so people should vote for me because they know me, and I've worked for them. I've done a lot for this parish. This is Chisenyi Parish and Imbiro Zone, where I also reside. I have a clinic within. I have a nursing home here. So people know me. At least I've treated you. I've done anything, something for you. So they should appreciate. And I'm so grateful. And I thank God that I'm here today. And I know we have the win. Machine tusobola jigana kola. Nemmotoka esobola kubanga eva ku service n'ekutuka. So nakatusobola gavumenti nenye yaleese obuuma. Nekyo sobola kikomentingako nnyo kuba siri wa ICT. Ate siri wa information technology, simanya wa ICT, simanyi kikibaddewo naye ekiro kye tusobola okukozesa. Buli muntu okola wabeera plan A ne plan B. At least tukozesa plan B. Okubanza nadde njagala nnyo okukozesa obuuma. Abantu balaga amazima nti oba tulina obuwagizi oba situlina buwagizi.
Meanwhile, at Kamocha, where the National Unity Platform Secretary General David Lewis Rubongoya cast his vote from, concerns were raised over challenges faced by party polling agents. Rubongoya said the difficulties slowed down the voting process and affected the smooth progress of the exercise. Let's take a look.
An election must have clear rules. It must have set rules which everybody needs to follow. Now this morning we started moving around. Voting was supposed to begin at 7 a.m. but by now in many places people are still calling us to find out what is going on because the BVVK machines, which the Electoral Commission said were mandatory to be used in this election, have failed maybe at 90% of the places, or even more. I've been moving around Kampala Central. The only place which started voting at 7 a.m. is where the military votes from, at Summit View. Elsewhere, there was no voting taking place. I called the Electoral Commission as Secretary General of NUP, and the Electoral Commission said they have issued a new directive for people to vote manually. But remember, there is no internet. How does this information get to reach our people everywhere? That's why many people are calling me to ask me whether they should go on or not. But remember, not everyone will call me. NUP polling agents across the country.
Meanwhile, at Kololo, Abraham Luzi arrived with his wife and was seen casting his vote peacefully. He thanked voters for maintaining calm throughout the exercise and said the peaceful environment reflects the maturity of the Kampala residents. Luzi expressed confidence in his victory, noting that as independent candidate, he is ready to work with President Museveni, whom he described as the winner.
Tuliriza okulonda bebaza abawagizi bange mwenna banna Kampala okuma emirembe n'okujjumbira okulonda. Nebaza mukyala wange ono olugendo tutambudde wamu kirabika leero lutuuse ku nkomerero yaalwo. Nyabo webale nnyo, webali ddala. Nebaza famire yange mwenna mwebale nnyo, mwebaliri ddala. Nsuubira akalulu kano katambudde bulungi. Of course omulungi tabulako kamogo obadde okukeerewa mu katono naye bakimanaginze bebaza akakiko k'ebyokulonda. Tusuubira okuwangula era obuwanguzi buno bw'abanna Kampala bw'abanna Uganda nga bwe nabasuubiza nze siri wa kukyamuukirira siri muyala ngenda kukola ate mbasuubiza era nabasuubiza nti President agenda okuwangula mwenna mumumanyi olw'okuba nti akira abalala. Ndi independent siina kibiina siina kajanja ako ka bibiina nze sibikkiririzaamu kuba bireeta enjawukana. Ngenda kukolagana ne President nchimanya agenda okuwangula Mwami Museveni. Olwo nno tulete reforms. Mwe banna Uganda ze mugenda okufunamu mulekerawo obusungu n'akajanja. Tubasaba banna Uganda ng'okulonda kuwedde. Bwe bakuwangula ddeeka okula ebirala. Nange era we bampangula nja kukwata reforms, magnificent reforms, nzikwasa oyo yenna n'abakoze eki. Waliwo awangula n'awangulwa. Era temulowooza nti obutanonda mba mumbonereza nedda. Nja kukwata kakyala kakube drive around the city ngende nnime ngende nkole ebirala. Kiyamba gwe okulonda omukulembeze omulungi agenda okukola ebyo gwe byogenda okufunamu.
In downtown Kampala, many voters complained about biometric machine failures and delays, concerns that were echoed by voters across the country. Voting was initially scheduled to end at 4 p.m. However, the Electoral Commission Chairperson Justice Simon Byabakama extended the exercise to 5 p.m. to allow all eligible voters to cast their ballots.
Omutwe era obunsumu kumutende ogukwata peni n'akapapula akasaate 2 tutimbeko ekigambo wali nti Museveni oba NRM nti wali MP tetulina busobozi bukubisa kipaana nti kiteeka wali nti kya Museveni kiri kya MP kiri kya umani MP okusooka okuwandika ku papulo bwa peni. Ekyokubiri sawa tugenda mu 4 twakedde saa 11 wano kulonda naye tuwulire yuma tebikola mudde wano mudde wali nakati tunalonda. Tugenda kulonda ddi tubaviire nga bwe batugambye tubaviire tulonde tudde ewaka.
Ekisinga okunnumya omutwe kiri kimu. Electoral Commission yategeera olunaku luno nti lunaku lwa kulonda. Nevunaanyizibwa okukola buli kyeyina okukola mu butuufu bwakyo mu budde bwakyo. Bwe tuba nga twatuse ku polling station ssaawa 11 ng'amateeka galagira nti okulonda kutandika ssaawa emu. Essaawa tuli mu ssaawa 3 tetunnatandika kulonda. Abaliwo abavunaanyizibwa ku by'okulonda bw'obuuza ono ng'agamba buuza oli, bw'obuuza ono ng'agamba buuza oli. Mwatugambye bwe tumala okulonda tuveewo tugende eka. Kati tunaagenda tutyeka nga n'okulonda ku ssaawa ze tulina okulonderako
tetunnalonda.
President Museveni bw'aba atidde lwaki tatugamba ne tumuleka n'akola ki niyeebererawo ebbanga lyonna.
All right, now we move on to Kawempe, and in Kawempe North, including Chebando Vocational Institute, St. Paul Primary School and Holmes Darlin Nursery and Primary School, large numbers of voters turned up early to cast their ballots. However, voting could not start on time because materials arrived late and the BVVK machines failed to function. As a result, election officials resorted to manual verification using the voters' register and identification cards, allowing voting to proceed.
Tugende
And a polling station in Chebando, voting also started late, and officials similarly reverted to the manual system after the BVVK machines failed.
Nothing is going on. It is now 9. We are going to 9:30. People have come very early. By 6 people were already here. Machines have come late. Machines are not working. People are not very well knowledgeable about everything. Everything is just disorganized. But we pray that at least by 10 we are voting, because we have things to do. Won't we eat? Yes, we are very disgruntled. We are very not happy with the government of Uganda. This is only a one-day thing, but it seems like as if preparations were not enough. So let us hope that everything and wanting a lot of money in
voting, you go home. Now we are here, we are wasting a lot of time. I don't know, there's no network, what is not happening? Because if there's no network, then you tell us there's no network, then you wait until the network comes back. So ekiri omanya amazima gakufuula eddembe. So we are here stranded. We don't know, is it network we are waiting for, and how long will it take for us to vote?
At Kawempe Mbogo polling station, voting was delayed as well, prompting some voters to express frustration. Some residents alleged the delays were intentional, citing Kawempe's reputation as an opposition stronghold.
tubuuza era ngamuga nti abantu fe bakyamu baganya abantu ne abasajja paka saawe mpaka zino saawa betula bwetulozi wali bakola ki ekira balina bo bugendererwa byabwe bebaga kwakati abantu babaga nti abantu bebalina empisa ki empisa embi kale ufatile ebirwadde byaffe tulina byabusazi tulina bisukaali ne abasajja baliwa kakobyo kibasebo akali awo tubuuzanga ngammwe abasifula buli wali ayimidde buyimirizi abapoliisi bonna bazze kati abantu bebekyanga bamugamba mutya naffe saa 12 bamaze okusaasa bwibwe pansalibira wano ninja nakapapula kange nga nina okulonda ndekali akapapula kaka n'ebirwadde byange njala genda kulya kate ŋŋendeeka kale ebima bwe bineekyanga tebabitusomesa ebyuma kale bwe bineekyanga tugenda kuba tutya era bagamba nti ffe bakyamu so batuyambe.
Well, at St. Peter's Catholic Parish in Kanyanya, polling station in Kanyanya, by 8 a.m. voting had still not started due to technical and logistical challenges. In Machindi at Muyenga Hill polling station, the BVVK machines initially experienced technical problems. However, the faults were later corrected and voting resumed normally using the biometric system. Voters were seen casting their ballots and peacefully leaving the polling station.
Abantu bazze kuva saawa emu babadde ku polling station naye ne tufunamu challenge y'obuuma nga buganye ku scanninga. Report negenda mangu era ba IT ne bajja ne batereeza. Naye tubadde tufunye instruction endala nga zigamba basobola kukozesa register, nakyo kirungi. Akati wano Muyenga tetulina buzibu, ne Kisugu nawo teri buzibu, Wabigalo teri buzibu, ne Kisugu. In Muyenga, because the machine could not scan. However, after raising the concern, they deployed a team, they worked on them, but still there was a possibility to use the register. So I think here we don't have a complaint. Muyenga, Kibuli, Wabigalo, Kisugu, Bukasa, Namongo.
Still in Machindi at Mubeja Mugale polling station in Chibuli, where Kampala woman MP candidate Amina Nanziri Lukanga voted from, polling also began late and proceeded under manual verification.
Casted my vote, and I pray to him, the Almighty, that he gives me the chance to win and be the leader. The process for the machine, well, it delayed us a bit, but the people responsibility as Electoral Commission already had an option of us going the normal way or the usual way we normally do, and the process is going on very well. Yeah, I think the people of Uganda need peace more than chaos and violence. They listened to both leaders, the one who was encouraging violence and the one who was encouraging peace, and I think they've chosen to take the peace way. You can see this polling station has about 1,000 voters, but you can witness we only have those that are supposed to be here, either the agents, the Electoral Commission and the security personnel. So I can say all is well, and I request the country, let it be like the way I've seen it here.
All right, in Rubaga's church polling station, voting also started late and was conducted manually. Despite the delays, voters turned up in large numbers, determined to exercise their civic duty.
Twanguyizana nnyo okusinga bino ebyobungu bino tukozesenga kalamu yaffe yesinga okukendeeza amangu abantu kyetubanga tugenda mu maaso n'olulala bwe tuti naye akasana tukagumidde olw'okulonda kyetwagala bino bitwanguyidde nnyo okusinga ebyokuteeka mu bungu.
To vote for us. We are grateful and we know by the end of the day I will win and Rubaga will shine. I just call upon all those who have not yet voted to come in big numbers because it is today to decide what the Rubaga we want tomorrow.
Is there any way the system of the BVK machine is affected in the morning?
Automatically they have affected us. People came, especially the vendors, they came in the morning to vote and go for work. And they failed to vote because of the machines. But we know God is the answer. God is the one who decides who is to lead this Rubaga South. And we know at the end of the day, the best candidate will win.
We still have quite a lot in that regard, but now that is a summary of how some of the parts in Kampala managed to take off their day. Now it is important, first of all, to take a look at the Archbishop's moment, and then later on we shall be back to politics.
Archbishop's Moment, sponsored by Uganda Christian University, a center of excellence in the heart of Africa. Join the UCU experience now. And
St. John's Wakiso Secondary School, where faith meets education.
And also counting and the good and right results announced so that there is no room for doubting your integrity and credibility. Religious leaders were called to pray for the people, give them hope. That's why I'm here. I've been moving to different media houses to speak about this. But also, it is you as a person to ensure that you keep the peace. Peace is so key. Because if you just say, you make a deliberate intention of hurting somebody, of ensuring this one belongs to a different party, or hurt him or her, that's wrong where Ugandans. We are supposed to work in harmony regardless of our different ideologies, different parties, we are Ugandans, different regions, different whatever. But we are called to be together. After all, at the end of tomorrow and the following days, we must go back to work.
Archbishop's Moment, sponsored by Uganda Christian University, a center of excellence in the heart of Africa. Join the UCU experience now. And
St. John's Wakiso Secondary School, where faith meets education.
Very important and timely message from His Grace in this season of the election period. Now we take a short break. Let's take off these short commercials and then we'll be back with more reports.
This is Church of Uganda Family TV. Enriching lives. Regulated by the Uganda Communications Commission.
Welcome back. You are watching News at 8 and this is Church of Uganda Family TV. With the general elections underway, voters stand up at polling stations as early as 6 a.m. eager to cast their ballots and return home quickly. At Nakawa Division's Naguru Community Center, voters were ready to cast their ballots, but 2 hours later, they were still standing in line as the biometric voter verification BVV machines failed to operate.
We opened the black box where the materials come or are packed from the Electoral Commission to come to the polling station. Then we reached a time where the machine operator, the one called the BVK operator, has to put in his or her ID. Then I'm the BVK operator. When we reach the time of BVK operator to put in his ID, putting in my ID, it failed to scan the barcode of the ID. And then the whole process came to a standstill. Because when the BVK operator is not allowed to enter into the system, that means the system can't go on.
Ne kati sawa zigenda kuwera sawa 3 tetunaba kutandika kulonda kulokubanga akulira wano polling station gundi national ID ye machine eganyu kugisoma kakati erwembeere eyo twetwadde amagezi getuwa abakulira ebyokulonda abantu be bakulu ennyo okusinga zi machines kubanga ne machine eyo gye mutendereza bantu be bagikola. So abantu bebabeera first priority okulaba nti bawitnessinga ebyokulonda okusinga zi machines.
I'm in the polling station, Naguru 1. We are here, we have come ready to vote, but the confusion is that the machines are not yet working, and at the moment we are not yet happy because we slept knowing that we are ready to vote, to choose, to make a choice of our own. But as the condition is still confusing, we don't know how we shall end it because the time may squeeze us and we are very ready.
Tiriwa atuyambako tulagirira kuba wetuyinza kola wakati waliwo papula buliko ndaba 002 sima nyato zo gino nyanga tugiraba nyato obuzibu bumbagamba n'obuma tebunaba kola ki kutandika kola nenga ate favors tubadde twakedde.
The leader of opposition and Nakawa West Division candidate, Honorable Joel Senyonyi, was scheduled to vote early in the morning but arrived at the polling station later in the afternoon, and he attributed the delay to the challenges faced by his agents at various polling stations.
Kirudde ebbanga nga kiteekateekebwa
naye okuva ku nkya baleese bokisi teziriiko bisaanikira.
We are brought late, but again the boxes didn't have the covers. So right now we are waiting for the covers of the boxes. People were saying, okay, we can improvise. Can we improvise and bring polythene and put on top? Can you imagine we are at this level? So it's very unfortunate. Electoral Commission is not doing their work. And the other thing is that we are not using biometric. We have decided to go, without the biometrics. And the reason the biometrics were involved this time is because there were bad practices.
Do a good job. People early bird at polling stations and the machines just cannot work. Almost everywhere. And these are machines that the country spent taxpayers' money, billions upon billions of shillings, to procure these machines. But all of a sudden they are not functional, everybody's in confusion. We are calling the EC, what's happening? You said voting cannot happen if the machines do not start. What do we do? What should people do? And they said, let's consult, let's see what to do. And we said, but you guys, it is now 11, it is midday. Some polling stations actually began much later than that. But even as that was happening, there was a lot of confusion in some places. For example, I'm voting at, it's coming to 2:30. I had planned to cast my ballot at about 10 a.m. But there's lots of confusion we kept hearing in various places. So as I was moving around various polling stations of Nakawa West, which I represent, a number of the polling centers, the presiding officers, together with the police officers, they told our agents, you stand on the side there, let the polling officials do their job. And so the agents kept calling us and saying, look, you appointed us to be your agents. We are meant to be there to establish whoever is voting, are they truly on the register? But they've told us to stand on the side, and actually some were arrested when they insisted and said, but I am supposed to be here to verify that the person voting is actually on the voters register.
Kuba abalamu bazze ne beesanga ngate tebaliimu ate nga n'obukonge bw'okulonda babuyina ne national ID nga bazirina bawezeewo abantu babadde ndooza nga 15 ku 2 nga tebali mu register. Mpozi n'ekirala abantu tebasomesebwa bulungi bintu bya kulonda bino kuba abadde babawo obupapula okugenda okubutiikinga ate nga bano bennyini ababubawa batwala obudde okusooka okubayitiramu ng'abantu basooka ne bababuuza bitambula bitya. Abantu abasinga obungi basenguka mu bitundu n'abalala bagenda mu byalo olw'okuwulira message eno ey'okutiisibwatiisibwa. Abantu abamu batya nagana amagye ge baayiye ku nguudo nga gatambula. Abantu abamu baagatidde ne batasobola kwenyigira kujja mu kulonda. Almost 10% baatidde amagye, abalala ne batya, abalala baasenguka mu bitundu, abalala bali mu byalo nga tebasobola. Abantu baffe abamu baasengukamu.
Up until now, here at St. Yusuf Lugarama, I've not seen any violence. So I do not know what the situation will be going forward. But I would say, as a Christian, I believe that there is no leadership that will come unless it is ordained by God. So any leader that we get in Uganda is one that God will have given to us. And it is my prayer that God will enable us that much as there will be some bit of anger and rage from different groups, yet we pray that God will enable us to still have a peaceful country even after the declaration of the results.
Now, up-to-date primary school polling station, Namungon Parents Secondary School and Masiro polling security personnel and Electoral Commission officials oversaw a calm and orderly start to voting in Lubaga division as Uganda's presidential and parliamentary elections got underway. Polling stations out at Up-to-Date Primary School, Namungona Primary School and Masiro Polling Station in Nabulagala opened late morning and voting commencing between 10 a.m. and 10:30 a.m. despite minor technical challenges with the BVVK machines. The exercise proceeded smoothly with the voters standing up peacefully to cast their ballots under tight security and supervision.
Mutuandike tugende.
In charge of that register, saga lori agent yaba. Mukuru, utori agent. Tosoma register ya this game. Get your register. Bano baleke stiagala. No, when namuleka, I will not have done my service. The person who sent me here. The only one who could duty and I'll execute that duty.
Well, vote counting is still ongoing in different parts of the country for both presidential and members of parliament. In Kampala, we witnessed vote counting in areas of Muyenga, Katwe, Ndeba, among others. However, security has been heavily deployed in the city to deal with those planning to cause violence.
Museveni. Chakulani. Kisha Muntu. Museveni. Chakulani. Museveni. Chakulani. Museveni.
When you look at what happened in 2021, as NRM, we have managed to wipe out. Campaigns of non-issues. We have now managed to go back to issue campaigns. We have won in this area because of unity. And I want to thank Mr. Yassin, our mayor, for working tirelessly to ensure that we revamp, we revitalize the NRM support within Muyenga area. And I want to assure NRM supporters that slowly by slowly we shall work and bring back NRM in Makindye East.
How have you performed?
Today, during these elections, as NRM, President Museveni has scored 236 votes, as compared to Chagulanyi's 174 votes. So when you look at the performance of 2026 and the performance of 2021, sure, we have performed well, we have performed better, we have improved, and we are going to improve with the time.
In Muyenga, the NRM has won. All the candidates have won, but the president got the highest votes, and followed by the MP of the area. Now, for the MP of Kampala, there was a kind of splitting of votes between the independent and the leaning NRM and the NRM candidate, Amna Rukanga. So we did very well, where we thank the strategies that were put in place by the Secretary General of NRM, Richard Todong, and his team. We also thank Honorable Abaho for the campaign she conducted, which led to this victory, to top up to the NRM campaign. We have done very good. We are very happy. We hope that we are going to win at all levels.
Chakulani. Chakulani. Chakulani.
All right, that was a part of it. Of course, majorly, we had to bring you a roundup of what transpired around Kampala here, but more updates are coming because we still have so much to give you. Now we take a look at the headlines and see how to end up.
Headlines brought to you by
Centenary Publishing House, the leading publishers of prayer and hymn books since 1977.
In our polling day bulletin, President Museveni casts vote in Rwachtura amid biometric voter verification machines failure, while Chagulanyi casts vote in Magere raises concerns over internet shutdown.
It would eliminate cheating. And it can, but it depends on one thing, vigilance. The agents to really be vigilant. But many times the agents are not vigilant. They are not vigilant.
As we hold our general elections in Uganda, the world should be reminded that we are holding elections in the dark. The internet has been switched off across the country. This is done in order to facilitate the intended rigging of the regime.
And general elections commence countrywide. BVVK machines fail. Voting results to manual process.
I think it's just disorganized. The machines are not working. So basically no one has voted. Basically nothing is going on. It is now 9. We're going to 9:30. People have come very early. By 6 people were already here. Machines have come late. Machines are not working.
And from overseas, Trump's Venezuela oil play, $500 million shipment hits US markets.
brought to you by
Centenary Publishing House, the leading publishers of prayer and hymn books since 1977.
Just like I did tell you, we still have quite a lot. Later on, we shall be having the ballot 2026. But right now, we are going to take you at the National Tally Center in Lubowa for updates of what is happening currently.
of failure of some biometric voter verification kits or BVV that were deployed to support or facilitate the verification and identification of voters at all the said polling stations. Accordingly, the Commission took the decision and they guided all returning officers that where a BVVK fails to start, the voting process should commence immediately using the National Voters Register in accordance with the electoral laws and guidelines so as not to disenfranchise any voter. This decision was informed by the fact that the failure of the BVVK in some polling stations was not, in our view, sufficient ground to subvert or stifle the power of the people in electing their leaders. That power is sacred and supreme, whereas it was our great desire and expectation that the said kits work wherever they were deployed. The fact of their failure did not water down the unquestionable right of the people of Uganda to exercise their constitutional power under Article 1 of the Constitution to choose leaders of their choice in a free and fair election, provided the exercise of doing so was conducted in line with the existing legal framework. So it is in that vein, therefore, the Commission found it prudent and most appropriate to guide and direct that the elections take place, provided the voters are sufficiently identified using the polling registers that were availed at every polling station, which polling registers are derived from the National Voters Register, and which data is uploaded or was uploaded and fed onto the biometric voter verification kits. So in light of that fundamental record, which is recognized both in the Constitution and the other acts of Parliament, it was deemed therefore crucial and vitally important that polling or voting proceeds so as to give the people of Uganda their deserved right to elect leaders of their choice. And so it was done. That's why we are here. Nevertheless, the Commission's technical teams were tasked to address the reported technical challenges wherever possible, and stakeholders were being updated accordingly. Furthermore, in recognition of the fact that polling started late or a bit late, rather than the expected time or the scheduled time of 7 a.m., in some areas they started at 10 a.m., 11 a.m. The Commission, therefore, in exercise of its powers, special powers, under Section 49 of the Electoral Commission Act, decided to extend the polling hours, which were earlier scheduled to end or to be concluded at 4 p.m. by 1 hour to 5 p.m. at all polling stations across the country. So the polling stations